Welcome to the Business Growth Podcast. Today I'm here with Elisha from HTA. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Leonard. Thanks for having me on.
So tell us a little bit more about what you guys do at HTA for the
Yeah,
people that
sure.
don't know.
Yeah, we're an accounting firm. We've also got wealth and finance. Um, we've been around for around 17, 18 years. We're about 45 people. Head office is in Melbourne in South Yarra. But we've got an office in the Sunshine Coast as well and an offshore team in the Philippines.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And I know when we spoke last, you guys had some pretty big revenue goals. You said you were looking to like double revenue in the next 5 years. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. So tell us a little bit more like what's the game plan? How are you gonna be doing that in the next 5 years?
Yeah, sure. I think it's interesting. We've just kind of reset our strategy. So I think, well, I guess 5 years ago now, we set a target to it was double revenue, and we just achieved that last year, which was great. And so we're just going through the process at the moment of kind of resetting our strategy, working with some new like business advisors to help us with that process. So that's been a really interesting process because we've gone through, we've set the strategy, but then we've broken it up into the different teams, and each team has their own kind of strategy, which links up to the broader business goal. Um, so yeah, we're kind of 6 months into that now, and it's definitely we've not necessarily operated like that before, so it's been a really good process.
Mhm.
Um, Lots of accountability
Uh-huh.
for us to try and achieve those targets. Uh, and yeah, I guess working with the new business advisor has been good to bring some
Yeah.
fresh ideas to the business.
Okay. And I imagine like doubling the revenue kind of has like two components. It's like getting new clients slash new work and then having the actual staff to fulfill that extra work. So if we kind of break those two components down, let's say getting the new work, new clients, what does that kind of look like for you guys? What's the game plan to do that?
Yeah, it's probably still really being worked on that side of things. I think historically we have gotten, I would say, 80% of our clients from existing client referrals. So
Yeah.
that's a huge
Hmm.
part of, where we get our growth. But there is a kind of a ceiling to that too. So we always have to try and focus on other ways that we can bring in growth. So, that's through looking at our marketing is probably something we haven't necessarily like had a really targeted approach with marketing and new clients. So that's definitely
Okay.
something. And then I
Yeah.
think the biggest thing as the business has grown, we're trying to spread the capability of bringing in clients amongst the team.
Yeah.
Historically, it's kind of been driven by a couple of people, and now we're trying to spread that load. So we
Yeah.
kind of think that will help with that
Hmm.
process.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then I guess, and then the second component is the fulfillment of that.
Yes.
And I imagine if you want
Mhm.
to 2x revenue, there's going to have to be a lot more fulfillment. So talk me through that a little bit more. Like, what's like, how are you going to looking to hire more staff, or like you're automating things? Or how do you plan to like fulfill all this extra work?
Yeah, sure. I think there's two parts. I think, like you said, there is the hiring process. So we tend to try and hire a couple of grads each year. So we have a bit of a rolling kind of progression within the business. So there's
Hmm.
kind of some organic growth within the team. We've
Hmm.
definitely found it more difficult in the past to kind of hire more senior people. We find that when they come through as graduates, it's a better overall result in the end. And then as well, looking at our efficiencies. I know like AI is the buzzword at the moment, but yeah, looking at how we can use AI and those things to help us be as efficient as possible so
Yeah.
that, yeah, we can grow without necessarily just also doubling our headcount.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, especially with how much can be automated these days. And
Yeah.
I guess rising staff costs. Yeah, definitely looking at how to implement AI. So yeah, segueing into that then. So what are some of the things that you are looking at like implementing in terms of like the processes that you're doing?
Yeah, so at the moment we've been looking at the last probably 3 or 4 months. We've got a bit of an AI project team. And we're looking at two things. We're looking at kind of the agentic side of AI and trying to, you know, use, I think Copilot will be our where we end up, but using Copilot to automate a lot of things that we do. But then we've also been looking at the like robot side too, and building some kind of robots that work in our system to do some of the really repetitive tasks.
Mhm.
So we're kind of just embarking on that journey, to be honest. It's a huge beast.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're kind of progressing that now through the
Okay.
business.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And it's crazy like the stuff you can get AI to do to automate all that kind of stuff. I've even got like I built an AI to be my dietitian slash personal trainer type of thing. So it's
Yeah,
yeah, it's pretty crazy the capabilities, and that's still pretty basic function compared to what it could be doing. And
yeah.
then I guess while we're on the topic of AI, I remember when we spoke last time, you said one of the kind of like challenges slash concerns was how much of the services are going to be commoditized now with AI. So I guess what's kind of like your thoughts with all of that?
Yeah, so I think it's like it has already started, I would say some of our services are commoditized, some of our more
Yeah.
compliance services. And I think that, you know, there's only because of the AI and the efficiencies that should be able to kind of be brought to those processes, they just become less valuable because clients can go anywhere to get those services.
Hmm.
So we've got to make sure we're obviously still doing that well, but we're looking at other ways in which we can add value to our clients as we continue to grow through this phase. I think, yeah, definitely the advisory side becomes really important, which we already do a fair bit of, which is good. But yeah, obviously trying to continually refine that with our
Yeah.
clients.
Okay. And what are some of the ways you feel you can do more to like the value adding things to not be that like commoditized type of service?
Well, I think in reality, clients still want to speak to a human. And so I think we've just got to focus on being able to provide a great relationship with our clients and help them through their own business challenges, even
Hmm.
helping them through like implementation of AI or adoption of AI and that kind of thing, like helping them through the more operational side of things.
Yeah.
Um, will mean we can, you know, add value to them.
Yeah. Okay. And what other like changes are you seeing in the industry?
I think a big one that when I was thinking about this question, um, is just the attraction of like graduates through the accounting industry. We've had a bit of a kind of a lull in graduates
Mm.
in accounting recently, and I think it's because people think that what we do is literally sit behind a spreadsheet and just, you know, do tax returns and it's
Mm.
all data and it's boring.
Mm.
Whereas so much more of what we do is actually speaking with clients. We do pretty exciting things. We get to see like the ins and outs of people's businesses. So I think trying to
Mm.
sell that vision to future graduates so that they want to be accountants and it's not, you know, this stereotype
Mhm.
of boring is
Mhm.
gone. And I think that the next wave of graduates too, like one really key thing that, you know, we were just talking about, but being able to have good human skills, being able to talk to people,
Mhm.
be like a really critical skill
Yeah.
that those graduates will need as well. So how the universities, you know, train for that will be interesting how that kind of changes over the coming years.
Yeah. And what do you think people are doing now instead of looking like, starting to be an accountant? Where do you feel like that shift is going towards? Because I this is a reoccurring pattern I hear with every business owner, just less people studying accounting coming into the workforce. Where do you feel that shift is like, yeah, moving towards?
I think more, I guess the tech space, like maybe more like business consulting, like management consulting and things
Okay.
potentially. Like probably I don't really know.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think like tech, and I think people want to come in and, you know, be doing really exciting work from day one.
Hmm.
So trying to obviously bridge that gap between there's an element of important foundational learning that you go
Yeah.
through on the job, but there is also exciting things. It's not, yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know. It's an interesting question. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I was like, I was thinking like everyone wants to be an influencer or
Yeah.
something these days. It
Yeah.
sounds, yeah, it sounds a lot more cool. Like you get to travel and get paid a lot of money for not doing much work kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's that's what they think. I'm not sure that's
Yeah, yeah.
reality.
Probably it's
Yeah.
not really, no. And then so what's kind of like so what's working well for you guys at the moment, and what do you feel is not working as well as what you would like?
I think that's what's working well. Like we touch wood because it's so precarious, but we have really high staff retention. So we have like I think we have great business and
Mhm.
culture and team. So we have a really great developing, growing team that, have been sticking
Mhm.
around, which is good.
Mhm.
So that is really working well. I think we've got like we historically had some real issues kind of hiring and stuff, but we're kind of almost full and we're growing, which
Okay.
is great.
Yeah.
Um, and I think what's, I wouldn't say not working well, or just like some challenges, because I guess part of our previous growth targets was to kind of double revenue. We
Mhm.
did that in part through merging with a couple of businesses. So
Mhm.
that's been over the last 12 months. We've been kind of going through that process. And I would say like they've been successful, but yeah, definitely a lot of learnings, a lot of change within that process. Um, so yeah, I'd say they're the biggest things that that have been challenging, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay. And has there been with these new mergers, has there been something that has been like in particular has been more challenging with it that you maybe weren't expecting for it to be like that?
Yeah, I think that like I think I would say that how we operate as a business, like we're fairly advanced in the service that we provide our clients. We really do care about customer service. We care about our clients, and just kind of adapting to like maybe a typical traditional kind of old way of thinking with accounting, where it was a bit more like, you do tax return,
Mhm.
you get a bill for, the hours that they were
Yeah.
charged, and it's just like a completely different way of working. That's not how we operate. So I think
Mhm.
just adapting and then also managing client expectations to how they were
Right.
previously kind of working to our way. We call like the HTA way. Um, but yeah, I think we've gotten to where we wanted to get to with those. So it's all good,
Right.
which is good.
Okay. Yeah, so it's like slightly different approaches with the merging businesses in terms of the client fulfillment essentially.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, cool. And then what would you say is like the main like what is it saying? Metrics that you guys are focusing on like in terms of like the success with these things. Obviously you said like doubling revenue is a big thing. What
Yeah.
else would you say is like some of the metrics that you guys are focusing on to see that you're moving in the right direction?
Yeah, sure. So definitely revenue, sales. Also we monitor like our gross margin pretty closely.
Hmm.
So that's our efficiencies really. We do a bit of
Hmm.
benchmarking to the industry and kind of see where
Hmm.
we sit in both in gross margin, but also like pricing and that kind of thing. So
Hmm.
we consistently kind of monitor that. And they're pretty key metrics that we look at
Yeah.
each month.
Yeah. Okay. And what is like some new like automations or software that you guys have implemented?
I think we're implementing, so I don't want to say implemented right now, but
Okay.
we
In the
are looking
process.
at,
Yeah.
yeah, we are implementing
Yeah.
um, like Copilot
Hmm.
across the board and
Okay.
using the agent side of that. So
Yeah.
we're kind of going through a process right now where we've got a pilot group within the business that's working
Hmm.
on that. So we see a lot of efficiencies that'll come from that in time.
Hmm. Okay. And when you say co-pilot, what does that kind of look like for your business? Because I've seen like some softwares I use, and co-pilot is basically like a chat GPT version for that software that I use. Is that kind of for you guys as well? What when you say co-pilot, what does that kind of like look like for you guys?
Yeah, I guess like because we're a Microsoft business, so we've chosen to go through Microsoft Copilot, I suppose, in the
Yeah.
generative AI space.
Yeah.
But I think it's hard with this kind of stuff. I think we were talking about AI before. It's like you actually
Mhm.
don't know what it can do because
Mhm.
like you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So there's just so much to learn. But like some really good use cases I've seen of it have been like, um, I love the idea of we do a lot of client meetings where we're out visiting them and we've got notes and stuff that we've taken, or we need to send a
Yeah.
proposal afterwards, and we can be on the way home speaking to our phone, being like, hey, like these are the details, and
Right.
Copilot will use our templates to create the
Mhm.
proposal based on the notes that we've spoken to the phone, um,
Right.
which is really cool. And just a great, like, because normally that's when it's fresh straight after the meeting. So it's like you can just talk
Okay.
to it while you're in the car. And it pre-fills our templates, which is pretty
Got
great.
it. Yeah. Okay. So it's more like a internal AI type of thing.
Yeah, so it links to like our Microsoft systems. The way we set it
Mhm.
up is we would feed our templates to
Mhm.
the system and the back end so that
Yeah.
it kind of knows how we want things presented and things like that. So yeah,
Mhm.
we are, as I said, in very early stages of that, but that's where
Yeah.
we see it going
Yeah, yeah,
soon.
that's pretty cool. Yeah, I know like ChatGPT has a few things like that as well. Like I said earlier with the my kind of like dietitian, then it's
Yeah.
similar. Like I've got like a bunch of rules. I'm like, hey, these are the supplements I'm taking, these are my training goals, this is my lifestyle, all that. And then it gives the information customized based on that, which is sounds similar and based on rules similar to what you guys are doing.
Yeah, totally. I think as part of our assessment of it all, it was difficult to kind of choose between like Copilot or ChatGPT, and there's so many others. Ultimately, we went with Copilot just because we are a Microsoft firm.
Yeah.
Security wise, our security provider knows
Hmm.
Microsoft, whereas
Yeah.
ChatGPT can be a little bit more unknown. So
Hmm.
we just felt more comfortable with that. Um,
Yeah. Okay.
so yeah.
Okay, cool. And in terms of like, so the 2x like keep growing goal, what would you say is like the main bottleneck that's stopping you guys from growing as quickly as like what you would like?
I think that we've got a leadership team within the business,
Mhm.
and we've got a pretty high level of senior leaders, and then we don't have a huge amount of like middle management, I would say. So it's
Mhm.
kind of trying to fill that gap so that things can happen without so much reliance on the leaders.
Yeah.
That's our biggest thing. And I think it's happening and we're getting there. It's definitely one of our key kind of things we're working on. But yeah, I would say
Yeah.
that's the hardest thing because like I said before, we tend to try and hire graduates. So they come through, at a lower level and then
Hmm.
build up. So they just take time to get to that level.
Yeah. Okay.
But
And
yeah,
why do you feel that is like the biggest bottleneck? Like why do you say that is the bottleneck?
because the leaders are typically the ones with the least amount of time, and but everything kind of ends up with them to like approve
Okay.
or kind of run through.
Okay.
So trying to spread that load more, reduce the reliance on them to push stuff through,
Yeah.
I think will help us. Yeah.
Right.
And
Okay.
then it builds up the other team members coming through so that in
Hmm.
time, like I said, if in 5 years time we've doubled, we'll have more teams than we've got now, so we need like those people will step up and run the teams. So
Yeah.
yeah, just trying to get that process right.
Right. So it's essentially having just like more decision makers to make some like the smaller decisions rather than everything coming to the top level type of thing.
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Gotcha. And then lastly, if you like for this like remaining couple of months of the year, if you could fix anything, what's kind of like the main things you guys are trying to fix for these last like few months?
Like fix, I don't know. I don't know that we're trying to fix
Or
anything.
or slash improve, you could say as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. We've got some pretty big like revenue budgets for the next 3 months. So to be honest, we are focused on just trying to hit those. So it's capacity, like reviewing capacity, making sure we're doing the
Hmm.
right work for the right clients. Um, yeah, we're pretty drilled down right now and trying to hit that goal. So I think
Uh-huh.
that's just our focus over the next
Yeah.
3 months.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, it's been great having you on the podcast. Where can people find you to learn like a little bit more about what you guys do?
Sure. Yeah, we've got a website, htaadvisory.com.au. And yeah, I guess my LinkedIn as well. I
Mhm.
post and share things from the business.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And I'll put a link for that in the show notes below. You guys have been listening to the Business Growth Podcast. Until next time, keep growing.
Thanks, Leonard.